So the week 2 flags are we're going to be playing with Chaos mode on, and Chaos mode in and of itself pretty much randomizes everything in the game with the exception of item shop values. So pretty much everything is right there. Now, the no keys flag that you see there means that they can open doors without having magic keys. And the short charlock is probably my favorite flag. I didn't know it existed until we started doing this week 2 race. So it's a short charlock, which means that you go straight to the bottom floor of Charlock with none of the dungeon stuff that can come with it. Now, Charlock is just as much of an equalizer as it used to be, so we'll get to that a little bit later, though. And then we also have a very fast EXP flag on as well, which means that our experience goals are at half of their usual value. So right now, this is pretty standard for week 2, everybody going in and getting all the treasure that they can. And then we're going to see a little bit of divergence here as we see that Centroid is going out and trying to find what the community calls the Noodle. So the Noodle is going to be an enemy that has 5 HP and you are able to kill at level 1. All enemy stats in Chaos are completely randomized, so some of them can be pretty brutal, especially early on. And I didn't catch what Captain Green had seen down in Tantagel's basement, but I imagine we'll figure that out here shortly. But everybody has found Erdrick's token. So in Dragon Warrior, you have 3 quest items that you have to find in order to make the special item to get to the final dungeon, which is the Rainbow Drop. So you have to find the Stones of Sunlight, you have to find the Silver Harp, which you trade in for the Staff of Rain, and you have to have Erdrick's token, which is proof of your heritage. And that allows you to go and talk to the aforementioned Jerk, and that allows you to get the Rainbow Drop. And we also have the Death Necklace, which has a very unique function in Dragon Warrior Randomizer. When the flag is enabled for the Death Necklace to be used, it gives an extra 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your maximum HP. So that's pretty nice. Alright, and as we see Captain Green getting up to the next level with a big 32 gain there. And he has the hurt spell. And Magicians are 200 experience. Coming up with another level, 21 power and speed, 17 HP, and I believe that was 23 MP. And he's grabbing the bonus cave, or the Stones of Sunlight Castle Cellar. Meanwhile, we find out that the wolf has baby breath, which deals anywhere from, I believe it's 18 to 24 damage. And SM by, thank you for pointing that out. We haven't started the timer yet. Hopefully we'll get that fixed up here shortly. And stones were in Tablet Cave. I believe that's what was in Tantagel's basement as we saw Highspirits go for a dive there. And we have half plate for 89 gold. So this is the thing that I really like about Chaos Mode. Chaos Mode randomizes all of the shop inventory and what they are priced at, so you can see some pretty ridiculous things. I saw a set of clothes that was on sale for 14,000 gold or something like that, I want to say it was. Thank you for pointing that out, Amazing Toaster. Swamp North was the basement, and the tablet was just the other side of Swamp Cave. And Highspirits picking up Remoldar. I didn't catch anything that was there, but I see that RyuSeishin is picking up a broadsword, and has also picked up a large shield, which is worth 10 defense and 20 attack. Alright, and typically Remolder is a pretty big centerpiece for these, for the original vanilla game, and it is the place where you can buy magic keys, but seeing as how they're not required for this seed, we're just going to see them open up a chest and check for gold and see what they can buy and move on. And we see Centroid making use of the fact that he doesn't have to grab magic keys and is just going straight for building up some gold so that way that he can buy some of that expensive equipment in Remoldar. And Blue Dragon proving to be just a little bit too much for Captain Green, who has quite the experience advantage. We see Highspirits trying to take on a Warlock here. Hopefully that works out for him. And RyuSeishin running headfirst into a Wraith Knight, who appears to be a Sharlock level enemy. And it would appear that Poltergeists were the noodle. Not many enemies that have that low of an HP, and he took him out with just 9 damage, so... We see Highspirits grabbing some gold this time around. And the AK-47 being the same thing that it normally is in the game, just not hitting quite as hard, but still just as hard to run away from for Centroid41 here. Looks like he's going to have some problems. Centroid just barely making it to Breckenary, and that is a very welcome sight with its cheap 6 gold in. So right now we've seen 2 of the key items that we need to defeat the game, and we've seen a broadsword, which makes the game a little bit more doable to handle, and a couple of towns, and Captain Green is actually exploring pretty far into the overworld and still hasn't found a town yet, so this is looking like it's going to be one of those seeds where it's going to be all about just finding stuff and who finds what first. And Druid Lords are a one-shot for Centroid worth 73 experience. And unfortunately, just can't seem to get past those Wraith Knights. And RyuSeishin falls to a skeleton that appears to be about Remolder level. And Captain Green found a town, and it's Garenham, so there's going to be 3 chests in this building here, and then there's also a cave for him to check in the back as well. And we find the Fighter's Ring, which is good for another 2 attack power. And Captain Green getting trolled by the NPC RNG there. And we find that it is the Staff of Rain trading cave for the Silver Harp. And it looks as if Highspirits is going to grab his broadsword here. So everybody kind of valuing just stuff that's a little bit different here or there. Captain Green with a very early EXP lead still has very minimal equipment, whereas everybody else has at least a weapon. So it's kind of interesting to see the difference of play here. And Captain Green has found the Jerk Cave, where you trade in the Staff of Rain, Stones of Sunlight, and the token into the Rainbow Drop. So that's a very important piece of information for him. Unfortunately, RyuSeishin falling to another armored knight, and a wolf claiming yet another victim in Highspirits. And unfortunately, Captain Green getting roadblocked here by this Wolf Lord. Is able to put it to sleep, though. And decides to attack and falls to it. So right now, Captain Green has quite the information advantage over the other players, but it looks like Centroid has taken the experience lead from him in the process, fighting these lower level enemies. And that fight there is going to be good enough for level 10 with 7 power and speed, 13 hit points, and 2 magic points, and they also picked up a... And that wizard is a monster. I saw an attack for 30 damage and 21 damage, so we're going to be seeing them later on as well, I'm sure. Alright, and Captain Green is going to take on Tablet here real quick and get his Stones of Sunlight. Meanwhile, it looks like Centroid has found Hawk's Nest, which looked to be just northwest of Tantagel. Slime. He does have the hurt spell here, so the hurt spell might be enough to balance him out for whatever the boss enemy is here, just dependent upon what it is. And Wyverns have sleep, but they are defense breaking them, so they're not too bad. And they do have hurt, so that can be a pretty nasty combo sometimes. And Captain Green runs into a red dragon. Tries to run and fails. Resisted his hurt spell, but he was able to get away, so that was pretty fortuitous for him. And ghosts have the big boy breath, and that's Dragon Lord 2 breath. That's a very heavy-hitting attack. Centroid tried to put that wyvern to sleep, unfortunately failed. Gonna try to run, blocked in front, and then taken out. So sleep can be pretty effective for the enemies. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. So Highspirits has gotten all the way up to level 6. Doesn't quite have anywhere near the experience lead, but he's definitely caught up pretty quickly. I only looked away from his screen here for a minute or so. It looks as though Captain Green is going to pick up some equipment. Meanwhile, we've got 2 of the other runners facing off against Wraith Knights, which turn out not to be worth that experience at all. I don't believe that it... Well, no, actually it was 1 kill. That would make sense, because level 6 was just beyond the... just below the boundary of what a magician would give him. I would assume that's what he killed. Magicians are worth 211 experience. And then I spoke too soon. Level 7 came with quite a bit of MP there for Highspirits, so that's going to be nice. And it looks as though our runners right now are just going to kind of favor going for a good grind. And I can't say that I'd be doing much different. There's lots on the overworld that's got a lot of defense, and there's just not enough hurts in the world to get you very far. And Captain Green taking on a Wolf Lord, trying to get him to go to sleep so that way that he can run away. Meanwhile, RyuSeishin is in Hawksness, and already Highspirits up to level 10, tied with the leaders. Everybody's level 10 now, I think. And the enemy in Hawksness is a Droll. Doesn't seem to be hitting too hard. And doesn't seem to be super resistant to hurt, so this is definitely doable. It's going to depend upon his stats. And Drolls have baby breath. And a mean physical attack. So that's 2 of our runners that now know where Hawksness is. Alright, and Captain Green taking out a Poltergeist for 32 experience. They hit pretty hard, so I don't think that we'll be seeing him take on too many of those. And we come across an Axe, and I don't think that we've seen one of those yet. Seem to be just as tough as ever, though. And here we go, Highspirits taking on another werewolf here. And it unfortunately ran away. And the Scorpion kill for 22 and 22. Alright, so looking at our stats here, we actually have some pretty decent stats for level 10. 73 agility is a little lower than what you would want to go into Charlock for, but everything else is pretty much right on track, and agility actually is pretty high for this level. That's probably attributed to the 32 growth and the 21 growth that we saw pretty early on in the run. And RyuSeishin, trying to take down the Droll again, is successful in putting him to sleep, and is utilizing that hurt spell to the best of his ability. Meanwhile, Centroid has found Cantillon, that has a Flame Sword on sale for 3,500 gold, so that's not too bad. I doubt we'll be seeing a grind to try to get that better attack power, though. We also had the full plate for 1,200 gold, I think is what I saw. So, not too bad there. Highspirits taking down a blue dragon, which is only worth 20 experience. And Centroid hitting up the secret shop here in Cantillon. And we see magic armor for 500 gold. Definitely going to be taking him up on that, because magic armor is going to give you a 1/3 resistance to all the hurt spells, and it also restores 1 HP for every 4 steps you take. On top of the 24 defense it gives you, I think that's what it is. Meanwhile, Captain Green has wandered into Hawksness. RyuSeishin looks like he was successful in taking down that Droll. I didn't see if he picked anything up in Hawksness, though. And I missed the coordinate pickup. It was go forth and fight, so no coordinates this time. Unfortunately, Captain Green falling to the Droll and Hawksness seems pretty resistant to the sleep spell and hurt spell. I saw a couple of fails on both of those spells there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him try to grind out one more level just to get just a little bit further ahead. And Highspirits is finding the Staff of Rain Cave. Unfortunately, I missed if he picked anything up in Hawksness Z-Man. I would imagine he searched the spot, so I would be sure that he did pick it up if it's there. I'm sure we'll find out here shortly, seeing as how 2 of our runners are currently going for it. And Centroid about to find out the bad news that they have Dragon Lord Breath. Yes, he most certainly does have Erdrick's armor. RyuSeishin must have picked it up in Hawksness. And as you can see, he is not taking any damage from swamp tiles. That's a benefit of the armor. And you will also not take damage from any barrier tiles. You have 100% stop spell resistance. It restores 1 HP per step, and it gives hurt more and hurt resistance of 1/3, and it reduces all fire breathing damage by 1/3, I believe, as well. Alright, and we see Captain Green picking up 20 HP, 12 MP, heal more, and there's another big stat there. What did I miss? Oh, dang it. So it looks like Highspirits had also gone in and checked Cantillon as well. And level 11 for Highspirits. So he has made up quite the gap in experience between him and the other runners. And right now, he's checked just about everything that Captain Green has. So those two are pretty neck and neck right now. And the only one that I would say has more information at this point would be RyuSeishin, because he picked up the armor and Hawksness. Alright, and defense breaking red dragons now on Centroid screen here. And it looks like Highspirits has found the mountain cave. So there's going to be 5 chests in here. There's 1 on the top floor and 4 on the bottom floor. Hopefully he can get past all these wizards. And this is the thing that I really like about Chaos, is every time you run into a new enemy, you just don't know what you're going to find. Is it going to be something that one-shots you? Is it going to be an enemy that's going to put you to sleep and wreck you? It's just never the same game twice. We see Captain Green stopping in and picking up his large shield. Getting those juicy 10 defense points from that. And Highspirits picking up level 12 with 4, 2 speed, and I believe it was 9 hit points. And gold and fairy water in the top 2 chests on the bottom floor. Ooh, and drolls are down here as well. That heal more is going to give him the edge here against this droll, though, I'm sure. He decides to run, though. I would assume that that's going to be more along the lines of him thinking that getting the last 2 chests is going to be more important, which it is, because he finds the silver harp. And Centroid has found coal. I don't know if he's checked the spot or not yet. I had peeked away from his screen. It does look like he did check there. And just gold in the last chest of the mountain cave. And Centroid has also found Garen's grave. Seems like we got some fairly decent enemies on the top floor of the grave, nothing too bad. And it looks like Captain Green decided to grind up some gold to go and purchase a broadsword from over at Remoldar there. And RyuSeishin seems to be continuing to grind and do his walkabout and try to find stuff. And he's on the right path to get to Garenham here. So that'll be pretty big for him as well. He'll gain some knowledge as well from going this direction. And Metal Scorpions being a pretty big enemy to take on right now, dealing pretty moderate damage. Meanwhile, we have Centroid taking on another red dragon. And RyuSeishin has found Garenham, and he's picking up his fighter's ring. And then we'll find out that the Staff of Rain cave is in the back of Garenham. Alright, and missed what the top 3 chests on the grave were on Centroid's screen, but RyuSeishin has found the jerk. Level 12 is coming for Captain Green there. And Demon Knight found over in the grave. And not worth a whole lot of experience, but we will get to see that there is gold on the 4th chest of the grave. So right now we found all of the necessary items to complete the game, but each player is missing only a couple of pieces of the puzzle. Centroid, I don't believe, has found Garenham yet, so he doesn't know where the jerk is, and he's missing the Stones of Sunlight and the harp, so those are the pieces that he's missing. Highspirits has all 3 key ingredients for the Rainbow Drop, as he just picked up his Staff of Rain, and now has the ability to make the Rainbow Drop. I don't believe that we found Sharlock yet on anybody's screen. So there's just these a couple of nitpicking little details that we still have to find. And so it's kind of coming down to what I was talking about a little bit earlier, with it's all dependent upon who finds what first. Right now, Highspirits is in grind and go mode. He needs heal more. Or no, he doesn't. He has heal more. So he has heal more. He has everything that he needs with the exception of Erdrick's armor and potentially Erdrick's sword. And RyuSeishin has found the mountain cave, so he'll grab his harp, provided that he can survive the encounters on the way over there. Centroid picking up wings on the bottom of the grave, so unfortunately nothing fortuitous on the bottom of the grave. And we know that the grave held nothing of real material value, due to the fact that Highspirits has all of the items required to get to Charlotte Castle without visiting the grave. But man, that's got to be a nagging thought in the back of your head. I haven't found the grave yet. I've got everything. I need the armor and the sword. What if the sword's in the grave? So I wouldn't be surprised if he finds it, if he at least checks the top 3. And it looks like Captain Green is headed over to the second continent right now. Maybe checking the grind spot as well. Yeah, that does appear to be what he's doing. It's interesting that Centroid has decided to fight his way out of the grave instead of just casting outside. Red dragons are worth decent experience. Maybe he's setting up a gold grind. I don't know what for, though. I haven't seen a silver shield. Wonder what the line of thinking here could be. I didn't catch the spike tile there. And Highspirits has found the town of Cole. Probably gonna search the spot here to see if he can find the fairy flute here. Unfortunately, there is no such luck there. Gonna check the shop, see if we have the silver shield here, which we do for about its normal price tag. A little bit of a discount, but not too much of a discount. I probably doubt we're going to see a grind for it. And we see Highspirits is in the grave here. He's gonna check it out real quick just to rule out if the sword is here or not. And empty chests is his reward on the top floor. We have a Sherlock sighting over on Captain Green's side, so we know that that's on the second continent. So Highspirits now has the information that he is needed with Cole. He now knows that the armor has to be in Hawksness. So I believe he did check for coordinates over in Cantlin, which means that he's gotten the information that there are no coordinates. And we see him going to take that on right now. and he gets the news that it's a droll. But he is much better equipped right now to take this droll on with that heal more spell. So we'll probably see a successful victory here. It's Stoneman worth 200 experience. And looking at stats now, we now have 76 agility, which means that we have a decent amount of agility to think about going into Sharlock. Our HP is a little low for Death Necklace usage. We want to look at that for about 130. And MP is really low, only 62. Wow. So we're definitely going to be looking to try to get some more MP here in the next couple of levels. Highspirits taking an excellent move, taking that droll out for his 7 experience, but more importantly, the Erdrick's armor. And man, those ghosts are nasty. And wizards are definitely a beast and a force to be reckoned with. Still dealing quite considerable damage with the best armor in the game equipped on Highspirits there. Golem's only worth 44 experience. And we see Centroid taking on an Axe Knight here. Highspirits taking a quick stop at the inn here in Remoldar. Man, not a lot around Sharlock that's worth a ton of experience. You got red dragons that are worth, I think it's 119, stonemen that are worth 202, and then we've had a couple of dud enemies around as well. And Centroid has made his way into the mountain cave, so he's going to pick up another piece of the puzzle for him. And he picked up a silver shield. So it does look like he did grab a gold grind in order to grind up for the silver shield that was over in coal, which is going to grant him 10 extra defense power. And RyuSeishin checking in coal, finding there's nothing there. And golems have sleep and hit like a truck. Yeah, the encounter rate in this game can be pretty unforgiving sometimes, that's for sure. So this Dragon Warrior game, technically speaking, I believe that just the plains green tiles are a 1 in 32 encounter rate. The tree tiles are 1 in 16, and I believe that the mountain and desert tiles are a 1 in 8.
Can you guys hear me? This is Bass.
Hey Basp, what's up?
Doing well. It was an interesting race.
Yeah, it has been pretty interesting so far. We've seen a lot of divergence. I mean, Highspirits started off pretty much at the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, he didn't have much exploration under his belt. Was the last one off of the ground, and now he's the one that's in the lead. So it has definitely been a very interesting race.
Oh, I think I jumped into the wrong race commentary.
Well, that's all right. And Metal Scorpion's worth 101 experience in this seed. Not too terrible. But they do hit pretty hard, so who knows? And it looks like Centroid's able to deal some physical damage to those wizards with that flame sword, so he's getting a little bit of an edge out of it, dealing just a little bit more damage. And Ryu well into the grave as well, finding out, unfortunately, that there's really nothing of value here to the pieces of the puzzle that he needs. He just needs the Stones of Sunlight and Erdrick's sword. Alright, and Captain Green is going to dive into the grave as well here. He has still yet to find his harp, so he is definitely going to be taking a look here. And Centroid is going to put that flame sword to good use and hopefully take down the Droll here in Hawksness to grab his Erdrick's armor. Dual Wyvern Naps. Yeah, they do have sleep, and they also have the hurt spell too, so they have the slept and wrecked kind of a deal going for them. Okay, so Highspirits just coming out and heading over to Sharlock, and I'm sure that we'll see a quick check into Sharlock in order to see where the sword is. There's always a part of me that's hoping that it's vanilla myself, especially when it's not my seed. But the really nice thing about Sharlock Castle on a short Sharlock is that there's a staircase over by the treasury that takes you straight down to the vanilla sword chest. So it's nowhere near as big of a time loss as it is in standard randomizer. And Goldmen are going to be a force to be reckoned with. Highspirits struggling to get away just a little bit here. And Metal Slimes, we're defense breaking them. And they seem fairly dodgy, but we are dealing physical damage to them, so we'll see if they're worth the experience. No, or not. He decided to run away there. And the first chest of the treasury was indeed Erdrick's sword, which adds 20 attack power to Highspirit's stat total. Make it a little bit easier to tackle some of these enemies here, dealing into the mid-20s instead of into the lower to upper teens like he was before. Captain Green had an armored knight run away from him. That's the funny thing about Chaos, is that some of these super ultra feared enemies are just wet noodles in chaos sometimes, and it's rather hilarious to watch. I wish that the player had a chance of blocking an enemy that ran away, so that way that we could have a little bit of revenge there. Axe Knight still packing a punch as well. Captain Green picking up his coal stop here. Gonna stay at the inn after that grave trip. Unfortunately, coming out empty-handed there. Magi Wyverns seem to be the weak bunch of the group. Yeah, I think that it would be pretty amazing to be able to do that to some of the enemies that irritate us on our typical runs. Pyrotic Tiger? Is that how you pronounce it? I hope I pronounced that right. I always butcher names. Drakima as well is just not worth the experience. And RyuSeishin has picked up his Staff of Rain. Will be heading to pick up his Rainbow Drop early. And I assume that he'll be heading over to Sharlock shortly as well. I could definitely see the argument for that, but I don't think that it would be as big of an issue, because I would assume that if they had something like that where a player could potentially block an enemy from running away, that it would be a similar agility calculation for running away, and Metal Slimes have max agility, so I don't think that that would be that big of an issue, actually. Wizard on the spike tile in Swamp. And RyuSeishin heading straight for the second continent, looking for his Erdrick sword as well. So I think that the remainder of the seed is going to be the rest of the runners finding what they need, and Highspirits and RyuSeishin grinding away until they get enough levels to take on the Dragon Lord. That's true. Typically agility builds in Randomizer specifically are finishing anywhere from 90 to 120 agility, so it would still only be a 50-50 chance for metals to run away, so it would be pretty overpowered, I think. I think that you are right, but that's the same thing as us trying to dive Sharlock before the game intends us to, and running into Armored Knights that we have a 50% chance of running away from. And taking a look at stats right now, RyuSeishin has a little bit of a lead in experience here, and he has enough agility but doesn't have Erdrick's sword. He's about to get 20 more attack power from that Erdrick's sword, so he'll have 132 attack power now, which is going to give him enough attack power to reasonably take on the Dragon Lord. But our HP total is a little low, and our MP total is a little low to roll those dice yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him maybe try to take on the Spike Tile enemy for a little bit, and then end up coming back later. And Highspirits has also reached level 14, so he's going to have the exact same stats as Ryu. Magi Wyverns have Dragon Lord Breath. Captain Green doing a really good job of keeping up with the experience, which is really nice. And he's not quite there with the exploration, but he is definitely on pace with these other runners who are just grinding as they go. And this wizard grind is super efficient. I would not be surprised at all to see Highspirits completely overtake RyuSeishin, who is just a little bit ahead of him right now, I think. Yeah, 130 on every wizard that you fight. Take a death warp straight out of Swamp back to Tantagel just to go down into the basement. This is an awesome grind. I really like this move by Highspirits. It's a super efficient grind. He picked up 8 more strength there, which gave him 140 attack power. HP is still a little lacking. He's close, but his HP is still just a little bit lacking. Sorry about that, my wife offered me cheesecake, and, well, I can't say no to cheesecake. Looks like Highspirits has 840 experience to go before his next level. So we'll probably see him grind out just another quick level against these wizards. They're not too terrible to take down. He needs 5 of them to reach the next level, which is pretty efficient grind. And Ryu still just a little bit ahead on the experience versus Highspirits. So this is going to be an interesting shakedown to see how the end of this match goes. And thank you very much for pulling up the stats on the wizard. Only 23 HP. That is glorious. That is a 2-shot every time with the Erdrick's sword. That is just so good for them. I'm not sure what you mean, Pyromance. And both RyuSeishin and Highspirits taking the dive into Charlock. I guess, I'm guessing that they're thinking they have enough to take on the Dragon Lord, which realistically speaking, they do have plenty of HP. They have 10 heal mores, 83 defense apiece. In a vanilla game, this would actually be a pretty good time to make this dive into Charlock. For those of you who don't know, the Dragon Lord's damage, you take your attack, minus their defense, divide by 2 gives you your max damage that you can do to them. You take your max damage, divide that by 2, that gives you your minimum. So right now, both of these runners are looking at a range of 10 to 20 damage per attack, which means that on average, they're going to need probably about 10 attacks or so to take out a Dragon Lord with 160 HP. Oh, so the monster stats for the tracker, I've only been restreaming and commentating for about a month now, so it's not really a new thing to me. I've seen it a couple of times. I think that the restreamer and the tracker decide when to bring those up. Oh, and DL2 has sleep. Highspirits taking on the Dragon Lord 2, hoping to win against the odds, but fails. Very unfortunate. Whereas RyuSeishin is getting pretty good luck against Dragon Lord 1. Got a couple of stop spells there, starting with a high HP total. Unfortunately, attacked from behind, slept, and wrecked. Oh, that is brutal. That is brutal. Yes, indeed, Beta Strep. If you want to pull up the stats for Dragon Lord 2, that'd be great to see. Yeah, Beta Strep, that was very, very brutal for them. Looking at it, Dragon Lord 2 has small HP, only 101 HP. Has vanilla agility, vanilla attack power, vanilla defense, 13/16 resistance, 2 stop spell. I am pretty sure that we are going to be going at this Dragon Lord 2 for a while. 50% chance to sleep, 50% chance to DL2 fire. We're going to be here a while. 15/16 resistance to hurt and sleep, respectively. So, yeah, I think we're going to be here for a bit. These runners are going to learn the hard way that they're going to have to grind a few more levels if they want to do this. They might get off a lucky stop spell, but I think we're probably going to see some more level grinding just shortly after this. Highspirits managed to hit level 16, which gave him just a little bit more HP and enough MP for another heal more. Yes, indeed, it is a good thing that this is a short Charlock. Dragon Lord 1, one of the friendliest enemies on the game, though, with only 4 defense. Captain Green, picking up his rainbow drop, will be headed for Sharlock. Centroid already there, heading into Sharlock for his copy of Erdrick's Sword. Yeah, no kidding. 9 agility on DL1, 200 agility on DL2. That is quite the trick. I definitely agree with Z-Man as well on his take on this. If this was a full Sharlock and I saw those stats, level 30 incoming would indeed be a thing. Highspirits picking up level 17, giving him plenty of HP to work with, plenty of attack power, plenty of defense power. I'd say that he is in a much better position to take on the Dragon Lord again. Level 16 for RyuSeishin, making a little bit less of an even match. Instantly slept over there on Highspirits' side. Once again, a failed stop spell. Ryu missing it as well, and then put to sleep. Highspirits is asleep as well. And Highspirits finally hits off the landed stop spell. I believe that Highspirits now has this in the bag. He is dealing upwards of 24 damage. He's doing 12 to 24, which means that on average he is doing 18 damage. So he's only going to need about 8 attacks, so he is definitely the favorite to win. So get out your GGs. Highspirits has taken down this beast of a Dragon Lord 2 by making an amazing land on the 3rd stop spell. And Highspirits is going to finish with an official SRL time of 1:07:38. Congratulations to Highspirits. See if we can get him in for an interview here. And as that Ouija? Is that how you say that? I hope so. Yeah, he was the last one to get a level. He was the first one to finish. Yes, Highspirits, you were the last one to grab a level, but your exploration was actually very, very efficient. You found a lot of towns very close together, and you were managing to grind along the way. So that definitely is what made up the difference. Centroid grinding the wizard spike tile in Sharlock Castle. Gets taken down, but he had no MP left, so not too bad of a loss there. I don't know, DW Edit. Are witches and vegans the same thing? Did I miss something? unfortunately, it looks like I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. Alright, there we go. And RyuSeishin has landed his stop spell. DL2 had 101 HP Highspirits. And he had 13/16 resistance to stop spell. So it was pretty brutal. I definitely was expecting the level cap to be a little bit higher than what you guys have managed to make work. This is truly an impressive race. Yeah, and you definitely had the HP to utilize the Death Necklace as well. What were your thoughts on not utilizing that? Was that just a precaution against sleep, or what are your thoughts there? And RyuSeishin looks like he has finished as well, with an official time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 40 seconds. Yes, indeed. GG to RyuSeishin. Overall, I'd say that this has been an interesting seed. Captain Green, right on your guys' heels here, is going to finish with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 26 seconds. And unfortunately, Centroid has decided to decline to continue on, and has forfeited from the race. So I'm just getting some stuff taken care of in the gaming chat to see if anybody wants to interview. Hello, RyuSeishin. Will you please say your name for me? Because I'm terrible at pronouncing names.
Sure, it is RyuSeishin.
Alright, RyuSeishin. Alright, I've been bouncing back and forth between like 3 or 4 pronunciations the whole race, so I do apologize. I'm terrible at name pronunciation. But congratulations, GG to you. This is definitely a much quicker seed than I was anticipating when I had learned that Dragon Lord 2 had a 50% chance of sleeping. So it definitely went in your favor with him having 13/16 resistance to stop spell. So it was definitely impressive to see you guys hit that stop spell there.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering what his resistance was. Wow, 1316 at 50% chance. Oh man, I'm surprised that landed.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive that you were able to get it landed, but the way that the game had balanced it out was that he had terrible HP. He only had 101 HP. Um, what are your thoughts on the seed as a whole?
Uh, well, the encounter rate seemed awful for some odd reason, but there was also a ton of desert and mountain all over the place, so that probably didn't help. Other than that, I mean, the map was pretty spread out. Kind of difficult path to get to Garenham, which held both the Staff of Rain and shortly thereafter the Rainbow Drop Cave. But then trying to find anything else, like I said, everything other than the two towns that were kind of next to each other and Hawksness off to the side, it was very spread out.
Yeah, I was definitely pointing that out earlier on in the race. Captain Green had decided to take a much more direct approach to exploration. He stopped grinding probably at about level 7 or level 8, I think it was, and he did just a solid 10 minutes of exploration. Didn't get much in the way of experience, and for his efforts, I think the only thing that he really found was Garenham. So it was a very windy path, and it was very hard to find things efficiently.
Yeah, that path to Garenham, I mean, if you didn't take that winding path, it was actually really, I guess, two winding paths to get there. I mean, you might have been stuck exploring the other continent, which didn't really have a whole lot on it. Of course, it held the Stones of Sunlight, which I felt I was the last to pick those up, honestly.
You did pick them up fairly late, but I wouldn't say that hurt you terribly. Probably diving into the grave probably cost you a little bit of time there. But overall, I would say that it didn't lose you too much time because it was just right on the other side of Tantagel Basement.
Well, no, it was just having to, make the trek all the way back over to Garenham just to turn those in. That I figured probably, took a bit of time away. And then, yeah, of course, I did explore the grave. I checked every single chest except for whatever was left in Sharlock, since all I took was the sword and said bye to the treasury.
Yeah, so I believe you were. I want to say you were the first one that found Hawksness, but I don't think you went immediately back to Hawksness to try to take on that droll. Is there any particular reason for that?
No, actually, I did go immediately back, and so what I actually ended up doing was trying to sleep and hurt. And I got lucky, and the last attempt I had to use hurt on it landed and killed it. So I actually got to pick up the armor fairly early.
Yeah, we actually weren't sure if you had picked it up because I had peeked away from your screen because at that point Highspirits had found the mountain cave. So I was trying to bounce back and forth between the two of them, and I just barely missed you picking up the item. So we were a little uncertain until Z-Man pointed out that you were randomly regaining HP, and that's when we all put it together.
Yeah, that definitely helped the exploration. And made things a lot easier to get going and continue finding other things. Which like I said, Cantlin. By the time I made it there, I ducked inside and is like, well, what am I going in here for? I don't need towns. I don't need to search for anything anymore. And then I found coal, which at the time I needed an inn. So I was like, well, check the inn. Maybe it's a flute just in case golems are terrible. I encountered one. I don't think they were honestly that bad.
Golems had sleep. I would say they were probably casting it with a 25% consistency, but they also hit like a truck as well. So there was definitely slept and wrecked potential there from them.
So Fairy Flute would have probably came in handy. But like I said, I only ever ran into the one, so I didn't have to worry about them. And that was actually on my last trip back into Sharlock. Very friendly Dragon Lord 1, though, and rather weak. Only Baby Breath, lots of stop spell, physicals didn't hurt much, and took a hit on the chin pretty well. But that was actually a very friendly Dragon Lord 1.
Yeah, it was the super friendly Dragon Lord one. If I remember correctly, I want to say he had 110 HP. He only had 9 agility, so he had 4 defense. His attack stat wasn't super high. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it wasn't super high. But I believe he was 50% stop spell in this seed.
All right. Out of curiosity, last thing before I go ahead and go, let everybody wrap this up. Did anybody actually ever determine what for sure was the noodle? I thought maybe it might have been the scorpion, but I was also swinging away with a broadsword and half plate and a large shield from the get-go, so.
Not that I caught with 100% certainty. By the time that everybody was leveling, most people had at least a weapon, with the exception of Captain Green. He landed an early excellent move, which is what gave him access to the hurt spell. But I want to say that I saw a Druin taken out with 9 damage. So that was potential for the noodle, but we don't have any real concrete evidence on it. Maybe Tyrannix can look real quick.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Maybe it might have been the scorpion, because I was still swinging away at it for 1 and failing sometimes, even with the broadsword. But the scorpion was also swinging away and failing or doing 1 to me most of the time as well. But I thought maybe that was just because I had all the armor gained from the half plate and the large shield.
Yeah, indeed. And looking back over on the seed as a whole, you guys really didn't need much in the way of hurt more. You all were doing a really good job with keeping up with each other on experience. Obviously, hurt more would have made it a little bit quicker, but nobody really utilized it.
Yeah, hurt more would have definitely made taking out the armored knights, which were very lucrative in experience. Just didn't take a lot of took a lot of physical to take them down, and ran quickly. Then, of course, you had the Wolf Lords, which you could really only hurt them down, so hurt more would have made them quick. And yeah, I see 5 HP, 5 attack power, so it was the Scorpion then.
Yeah,
it was the noodle.
So, well, do you have any final thoughts for the seed? Any final thoughts for what you felt you could have done better? Anything like that?
Overall, the seed felt fairly nice. I think Dragon Lord 2 was a bit of a jerk for ambushing me constantly. I never got a chance to actually, ambush him. Like I said, as far as what I could have done better, probably should have checked Swamp Cave a little earlier. I don't know how big the other continent is, though, so I could have been stuck exploring a large, massive continent that had nothing but, Erdrick's Tablet Cave and Sharlock on it. So yeah, that's the other thing I would have to actually take a look back, see if maybe that was a lot to explore, or if maybe I had gone there earlier, could have had the stones of sunlight and turned those in, at the same time that I was over in the area of Garenham already, and save that little bit of time there maybe. But I don't know, who knows?
Yeah, but overall, it's a very nice chaos seed. Everybody finishing about under an hour and 20 minutes. That's a fairly decent seed. It's not very often that chaos seeds go that quickly.
Yeah, it was definitely friendly. And Sharlock Basement, the wizards, once you got to a decent amount of attack power, the wizards were so easy to just smash down, but they were hurting a lot at first. The metal slimes were no big deal. The Goldmen weren't a big deal. Trolls weren't as bad. You could take them out pretty easily. The only really difficult thing was those Magi Wyverns, which, man, they wrecked me the first trip in there.
Yeah, they definitely had that DL2 breath there. Wizards only had like 23 HP for their max, I think. So once you guys had Erdrick's sword, I mean, they were a super quick and efficient grind. When we were watching, Highspirits was actually behind you in experience. He decided to check out the spike tile in Swamp Cave. Discovered that it was a wizard there, and just ground that and actually made it up and actually finished a level ahead of you. So it was a super efficient grind. It really was.
Yeah, I saw the wizards were in there, and once I figured out that they were, easy kills, I thought about grinding up another level, but I figured 16 was enough, which, I mean, apparently it was, especially with that sleep, cast once you got it. Once you got a stop spell, but that extra HP, and I see he had 153 at 17. That definitely would have came in handy. But I'm gonna go ahead and I will head out. I'm gonna get something to eat. I literally just got home from work and then got set up and started this. So,
all right. Well, thank you so much for racing and providing some entertainment for the evening. I definitely enjoyed watching you. Once again, GG's to you, and thank you. All right. So with that being said, I think it's an appropriate time to go ahead and sign off for the evening. I am the Amused Miniature. I was joined tonight by our restreamer Tyranix and our tracker Braxis Muse. Make sure you give those guys a follow. They work pretty hard. I did my first restream a couple of days ago, and it's definitely some work to watch everything. So make sure you give them a big shout out and thank you. And if you enjoyed watching the runners that ran tonight, make sure you give them a follow as well. So I am the Amused Miniature. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night, guys.